Overflows.
Sex and death create fear, and Tantra the antidote. Man is afraid of both sex and death. That is why both remain taboos. No one talks about sex and no one talks about death either. We remain silent about those two things. We have remained silent for centuries and centuries. It seems that there is a deep repression. That is why we have created substitute words. Remember, sex cannot be love, and love is a totally different dimension. Having sex is having sex. It cannot be making love. Love may include sex, but love has an altogether different quality, and Tantra is the antidote for fear that sex and death creates. Man is afraid of both sex and death. That is why both remain taboos. We have remained silent for centuries and centuries. They are treated as taboos, and these should not be mentioned at all. The moment they are mentioned, something starts trembling within us. It seems that there is a deep suppression. That is why we have created substitute words. In the Western worlds, they do not say we are having sex, it is said we are making love. Love making is a substitute word and false. Remember, sex cannot be love. Love is a totally different dimension. Having sex is having sex. It cannot be making love. Love may include sex, but love has an altogether different quality. So too, we never talk directly about death. If someone dies, we use substitute words. We say that he has gone to the Father, or he has gone to heaven, or gone beyond. Death is never faced directly. We have created many false phenomena around death and sex. Also, when two people are going to be married, sex is not even mentioned, and they are not going to be married for sex. We have created a great illusion around marriage, but the bare, naked fact remains sex. We have created a ritual, a great ritual of marriage, just to hide the fact, just because sex is taboo. Why is there a taboo about only these two things? They are deeply related to one another. The reason for their relationship is significant. In the first place, you are born out of sex. Birth is sex, and birth and death are two poles of one process. In birth, death is hidden. That is why man becomes aware of deep relationship between sex and death. Death cannot happen without sex, just as birth cannot happen without sex. You need no attitude for sex. If you have if you take sex naturally with no philosophy around it, with no philosophy for or against, if you take sex as you take your hands, your eyes, and if it is totally accepted as a natural thing, then Tantra will have an appeal for you, a deep appeal for you. And only then Tantra can be useful for many, because Tantra is the antidote. For transcendence, you have to dive deep into sex and remain totally alert and awake. When you follow Tantra, you move through sex. Sex becomes the door to pass through, and that is Tantra's path. You allow nature a total surrender. This is let go. You do not fight. You enter into it willingly and lovingly with total awareness. Tantra is a path for transcendence. Tantra considers sex as the door to pass through. The Tantra has a great appeal, but for wrong reasons. Sooner or later, Tantra will explode for the first time in the masses. It has already started exploding because now the time is ripe. Ripe to take sex naturally. It is possible that the explosion may come from the West because the psychologists like Freud, Jung, Reich, they all have prepared the background. They did not know anything about Tantra, but they have made the basic ground for Tantra to evolve and explode. Western psychology has come to the conclusion that basic human disease is somewhere around sex. If that can be treated, man will be healthy. The basic insanity of man is sex oriented, and Tantra is the antidote, the only medicine, the only treatment for it. Tantra is deep understanding. So, unless this sex orientation is dissolved, man cannot be natural, normal, and spontaneous. Man has gone wrong only because of his attitude towards sex and conditionings that are there in his mind. For sex, no attitude is needed. Only then, when there is no attitude, you can be natural. You do not have any attitude about your eyes. Are they evil or are they divine? Are you for your eyes or against them? There is no such attitude. That is why your eyes are normal and there is nothing otherwise. For transcendence, you have to move into sex and remain totally alert and awake. When you follow Tantra, you move through sex, and that is Tantra's path. You allow nature a total surrender. It is let go, a total let go. You do not fight, and there is no need either. Tantra is not the path of a warrior. You do not struggle. Instead, you surrender to wherever nature leads you. It is like floating in the river. River is rivering continuously, and if you float, river never drowns you. It will simply take you along with it. Nature leads into sex. It is not that you have earned it. It has come into you with birth. But conditioning came because of your upbringing and all these wrong reasons. That is why there is problem around the human beings. When you surrender to wherever nature leads you, remember, nature leads you into sex naturally and spontaneously, and if you enter into it lovingly, willingly, totally alert and awake, you surrender to sex, just like you surrender to the river for floating to begin. Sex is like a river that has started from its origin in the existence, and it is now flowing flowing to merge into totality once again. And it is the ultimate in sex is light. That is light beyond the sex. And this light that is beyond the sex is nothing else but the ocean. You are part of the ocean, and one day you will again be part of the ocean. You will dissolve into the ocean. Then there will be oneness. You completely move into it with no guilt or any concept of sin. Tantra has no concept of sin or guilt. Move into it. Just remain alert. Watch what is happening. Be alert, mindful of what is going on, but do not try to control it or even try to contain yourself. Allow the flow. Move into the woman. Let the woman move into you. Let yourself become a circle and remain the watcher. Through this watching and let go, Tantra achieves a transcendence. Finally, this way, you attain to transcendence, and then sex disappears. This is one way to go beyond nature, because going beyond sex is going beyond the nature. In the state of deep sex, both ego and time disappears. It is for the first time man experiences egolessness and timelessness. In the total orgasmic joy of sex, time disappears and ego too disappears. These two things disappear. That is the greatest longing in you. Once you have known that in deep sex, two things, ego and time disappears, you will not be aware of time. Now you have moved into eternity. And when ego has disappeared, time also disappears. The distance disappears. Then time will be flowing, but you will not remember, you will not feel that time, it has passed so much time, means neither the time is dragging. Instead, in joy, time moves as if you have gotten the wings, and time moves at a pace that you cannot even realize. Now you have moved into eternity, and that is when you are beyond the ego and beyond the time. You have entered into eternity, and now you are not aware of separation. That moment when ego and time disappears, the separation too disappears. The ego is not functioning at all. That is the state of bliss. Once you understand that this is the root cause of joy, you are free of sex, because now the whole thing is that you can drop ego and time without going into sex. Sex can make it happen only for a moment, and then darkness settles once again. That is why light comes only for a moment. The moment you have gone beyond sex, or the moment ego disappears, time also disappears. Both are the two sides of the same coin. And when this disappears, you enter eternity. You do not recognize, you do not realize how much time has passed. That is the moment, because time is felt only when there is a separation between the two. When there is no separation, time becomes meaningless. Enough for now.